Hey, what's up, guys? Mike here from Art of Alpha. Video for you today is we're going to talk about how to be more charismatic in general and in like certain settings too, like just certain situations.
In
The
every
main
situation.
Well, yeah, I mean the main ones are, of
Yeah.
course, making money, so business stuff.
Yeah.
More charismatic on video, more charismatic on dates, of course. A lot of you guys follow us for dating advice and lifestyle advice, so how to be more charismatic. We were just thinking about this earlier, and Mike was like, "Let's make a video," because he just had a big sale today. Mike uses charisma every day to get sales. Both of us for business.
There's no better way to uplift my mood than to sell something, and it gives me like a high. So as soon as I did that, I called him up. I'm like, we gotta shoot something, dude. We gotta do something now. Because we have a lot of goals this year. We have a lot of places we want to go and travel to. We have a lot of different things we want to experiment with. So we're just looking to, get it done.
Yeah, so we'll just go into a few things about the charisma, a few points that we can get into, and we'll focus mainly on, just like right now, we'll just talk about some dating stuff, how to be more charismatic on dates. One of the things that happens to me is you always get the same questions. So you always get, what do you do for work? What are your hobbies?
Yeah.
What are your interests? Stuff like
What
that.
do you do for fun?
Yeah.
What's your family like? Like, it's all the boring standard. So that's the best thing about this is you can always expect these questions, so you can always have awesome answers ready to go.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing is a lot of guys don't have good answers.
Yeah, it's candid. It's almost like you should expect it because every girl's the same.
Yeah, so you know there's going to be certain questions, so you have to be ready to answer them. So a way to be more charismatic is to have good stories behind what you do, why you do it, what your hobbies are, why you're interested in those things. So one way to be more captivating, charismatic is to have stories and to tell stories. So if I were to ask Mike, like, how come you, or like, what do you do? If he just says, "Oh, yeah. I'm a coach. I'm a self-development coach." Well, that's not as good of an answer. He would say something like, "Oh, well, I've been, when I was younger."
Which is true though. That's the thing. So a lot of this comes from from a personal experience. But I usually smile and laugh because I go, get ready for it. It's going to be a long story. Because I'll go, when I was 8 years old, I started with my family doing this and that. And, it goes on for like a 10, 15-minute long conversation. Because I learned from a young age, my stepdad is in HR. He hires people professionally for big companies. And he taught me a lot of good things on like how to read people and how to look for certain traits in people to see if they're a good fit. And one of the big things is he'd ask one basic question, one simple thing, why you do what you do, or what do you like about this job? And he would notice that all the people that were really passionate about it, really loved it, like they would just go on and on and on. And he's like, "Yep, this is gonna be the guy." Like if you just give that one word answer, you're like, "All right, next, who's this is boring. Like give me something." You can even have a job like, again, I have a normal type of job. It's construction stuff, but the way I talk about it, it's my life. It's what molded me. It's what made me, and I still love it, and I love to do it, and love to help out on other stuff like that.
You really like, but I know a lot of you guys, you're stuck in jobs that you don't really like right now. You're doing things that don't really interest you. But how do you don't want to say, "Oh, I just have this crappy job." You want to make it seem interesting. And that's where you have your story. And another thing, like once you have your stories down about what you're doing, you can also have a story about what you want to do. So maybe right now you're working on a job you don't like, but you can have a story when she says, "What do you do?" You say, "Well, right now
it's a stepping stone."
Yeah, like right now I'm selling cars, but what I really want to do is I want to do X, Y, and Z. So make a story about that. So make sure when you're being more charismatic on a date, more alpha on a date, you want to have these stories about your goals. So me and Mike, we're going to leave a PDF that you can download that's going to be, like what was an alpha male. And one of those things that makes an alpha male is someone that has goals. So when she says, "What do you do?" Now it's a perfect opportunity to talk about your goals, things you want to accomplish. So have stories. To be charismatic. It's like the general stuff. You want to lead. So like pick the place you want to go to.
huge, easy one is to listen. A lot of guys don't process what the girls are saying, and they don't follow back with like a good response. So again, someone who does, so this is a crazy thing. So take someone who has done one thing his whole life. He only knows that one thing, right? It's kind of boring. But you take someone like me and Mike, we've not only have tried most things, if we haven't, we want to. So say a girl's into some type of yoga thing, where I'd be like, you know what? I've never done it, but I'd be real, I'd love to try that. It looks kind of cool and stuff. Just to show that you're interested in them. Like, all you have to do is listen and respond, and you'd be surprised how many people don't respond or listen to them in general, and that's going to set you apart on that date from the other guys. The fact that you can actually converse with them, they're going to love that.
Yeah, it's even empathy.
Yes.
So, yeah, you can, just be an experience.
Because they feel like it's a connection. So that's that, and that's another thing I love to say on the date, because they always ask, oh, what are you looking for? That's a huge one. They're like, oh, what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't say girlfriend, I don't say wife or anything like that. I say I'm looking for that connection. And I go, I'll know when I feel it. I want to feel that passion with someone else that's as driven as me. And like the way I talk about it, they can feel it, and they're like, oh, I like this. They have no idea what I'm talking about half the time, but they just like the way I present myself, and I go along with it. So
yeah, so another point right there, you can see the way Mike's talking. So he's passionate.
Yeah, I'm getting into it.
Yeah,
right
so getting into it, being passionate, and a thing too is the way you speak. Like if you notice Mike getting really high energy, but then if you dropped it down, like, yeah, I mean, you look really good tonight too. Did I mention that? So now he's like changing up and down. So he's like really passionate about it, into it. And then he's like, oh, by the way, like, what are you into, by the way? Yeah. And then so he changes his tonality. That's another way to be charismatic. He can get like really amped excited about the way he's talking, and then he can get a little bit relaxed. He can change his voice tonality. He can change the way he's talking, so that it makes you more charismatic like that too. Is more alpha.
Yep.
So so far we covered the storytelling, changing your tonality, being passionate, being excited, leading, and
oodles of stuff.
Yeah,
that's a lot, I mean, and this is a first date scenario. So I mean, if you're doing all this, it's a lot to bring it in. This is stuff that we've practiced over and over and over, from doing dates every week, multiple times a week. We're working on ourselves to help, not only to help others in this stuff with not just business and dating and stuff, but we're trying to show and help people like how to find that other person, or like someone like that's on their level, because a lot of times too, like people want to hold other people down, and they're just not fucking happy. So we just want to help people out, I guess.
Be better overall, so you can attract better people, healthier people. So that's the whole point. Is you improve yourself to then attract the quality people that you want. So let's go on a couple more things how to be alpha on a first date. So you want to decide where to go.
Yes.
Pick the location. Yep. Have a plan, and then kind of lead the conversation. So if the conversation starts to go somewhere where it's sort of boring, you want to have topics that are interesting, like travel, adventure.
All the stuff that girls are into.
Yeah. So we'll have a PDF for good conversation.
We're going to have that coming up. That's actually a really good one to bring up. So we'll have the talking point. Yeah, so we'll do all the talking points. That's a really good one we'll do. All the topic points that you want to have for like a conversation with a girl. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Mike found that there's certain topics, there's certain things to talk about that are going to make the conversation a lot better.
If you've ever consistent throughout. Yeah. All the girls are into travel.
It's the same. It's all the same.
It's all the same. They say that it's the same.
Yeah, if you've ever been on a date and you're like, what do I say, or how do I make this go more interesting, or it's boring? Well, that's what we'll make a video on, how to have better conversations on the first date. And so you want to lead the interaction. You want to pick the place to go, lead the interaction, and
I'd say get a little sexual too, a little tension going. Yep. So like you can be talking about that or be really into it. Say you're talking about family.
And what's a topic that you bring up to get that going? I have one of the topics.
What do you go ahead?
I do adventure.
Oh,
I'll be like,
yeah.
So you can start if she can say like, what do you do or whatever, and then I'll say, oh, I started a business and it allows me to travel. And actually, I went on an adventure like a few months ago. I was, like I'll say a story about an adventure, and then I'll say, what's something adventurous you've done, and then she'll say, say something, and then I can use that word adventure to then say, like, you can segue to something, you can get sexual.
It's the most adventurous place you've had sex.
Yeah, you can eventually get to that point. You ease in there with adventure. Now you're talking about adventurous things. Then I could say, by the way, what's something adventurous you've done, like, say, the last week? And then she's like, oh, well, they're like, well, have you ever kissed a guy in this fancy restaurant? Have you ever kissed someone here? And then, or I could be like, it's been a while. It's been a week. Wow, you need to do something adventurous right now. And then I could just lean in, just kiss her, and then be like, all right, that was a nice little, small adventure.
Yep.
So adventure gets you into there to more exciting topics or more exciting, things to talk about.
Alpha, you want to show that you're leading all the time. So, the best way to do it, like you said, pick the place, pick her up, tell the time. When you're out, lead the conversation. You should always have places you want to go to. You shouldn't be dull with it and be like, so what else do you like? Like, that's boring. You should already have so many topics ready to go. If you're really listening to her or to him, whatever, it's business anyways too. If you're really listening to them, there's so many tidbits. So what we do, this is another thing that we like to do. We leave breadcrumbs for people. And if they pick up open loops, we leave these little breadcrumbs for them. And then we see if they attach to it. And there's so many talking points for them to get at. Or just like when they talk, we can hear for it and we just elaborate on it. Or we put it in the back of our mind to talk about later.
One of the open loops I used to use all the time was, say, if you're texting, you don't say, so me and Mike used to do jiu-jitsu, and you don't go, oh, I'm going to a jiu-jitsu class. You say, oh, I'm going training. I have this big tournament. Now they're like, oh, well, what does that mean? Like, what tournament or what are you training for? So instead of just giving all the information, you leave a breadcrumb or an open loop that makes them curious.
Just enough.
Yeah, makes them ask questions.
If they're interested, they'll be like, what do you mean? What? So a girl I was texting today on Hinge, same thing. She's like, oh, sorry to get back to you. And it's been like 3 days. Like, so many people right now are on those apps that it doesn't matter. So you're getting like 10, 15 likes a day or whatever messages. She was talking about, I forget she was fucking saying in the beginning, but she went, she's like, oh, what do you like to do for fun? I'm like, oh, I like to film certain things. I've been into doing that, and then some photography for some people. She's like, oh, do you work? Is that your job? Is that what you do for a living? Or what do you film? Like, what? So it's enough to get them into it, and in the topic is super interesting to women. They love photography, videography. They love status stuff. Yes, travel, money stuff. Like, if you're well versed in everything, if you lead this amazing life that they want to be a part of, that's what it is.
Yep. And that's where the stories come in, and that's where we're doing new things, having new experiences. That all comes in, and that stuff you can talk about on the date.
Yep.
So, all right, we're going to wrap up this video. We got some mosquitoes flying around.
Yeah.
We're outside during the quarantine. But, if you have any questions about that, leave comments down below. Definitely check the links down below. We get some courses coming out, some coaching. And, we hope the next time you go on a date, you're going to be more alpha, and you're going to have the outcome that you want in life, dating, business, health.
All of it.
Everything. We have videos. We're doing 2 videos a week, probably every Monday and every Thursday. Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll have videos coming out.
And we're going to do progress on my becoming more alpha again. I lost it with relationship and stuff, but I'm on a strict diet plan and workout and business and everything. So I'm just trying to get back to myself. So I'm going to show pictures and statuses on everything. If you have any questions of how I'm feeling and stuff, the ups and downs, we're here to help out. Because again, it's not always like picture perfect. It's a struggle, but in the end, it's always worth it.
All right, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I keep looking over here because there's a light that's blocking the little screen. Yeah. So I'm like, keep looking. But all right, guys, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.